So yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, says Frank the Tank. I have no idea. God incarnate. In before it's Eso Faggy. Who knows? Could be anyone. Could be anyone. No idea. Don't know what Big Tech's channel is. Only know it from Cozy. So there you go. Is this Big Tech?
Hey, big guy, can you hear me?
It does sound like Big Tech, so yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
It's me. Yeah.
Okay, so
G'day.
g'day. There's obviously I'm not Australian. There's obviously a cozy civil war going on right now, and again, this is
Yeah,
always going to happen
it's
because
serious.
you've got degenerates on the website, and you're going to point it out. But when you point that out, it makes the website look bad. Even though I'd say the degenerates on the website make it look bad, but
Well, Ethan Ralph is absolutely a degenerate. I mean, there's no other way around that.
oh no, yeah,
But that's
he is.
not my biggest problem with him. Mostly it's just that he's just kind of a dumbass.
No,
But anyway, that was really mean what he did. That's really mean what he did, right? Posting pictures
again,
of my wife and my kids.
no, it's my whole thing was the fact that you saw him go after your kids, and he blames this on you said bad things about his mama, his dead mom.
You talked about my mama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I actually predicted exactly that this would happen a couple months back when he was still zanied out and all drunk. And
Yeah.
I had said one thing because I was talking about the Ollie Alexander situation. And I knew that there's sort of a double standard because I was saying we can't have people like this around us. And then I knew people would say immediately, well, what about Ralph?
Well,
Ralph kind of gets a pass in my mind because he's kind of a big fat clown, and that's funny. Nobody
fair,
takes him seriously. But I knew that even just by saying that he would want to go off on me.
Well, like
But I still like the guy. I still like the guy. I literally do. And you could even say that I'm kind of cucking right there. But honestly, like, it doesn't really hurt me, to put a picture of my beautiful ex-wife and my two beautiful kids that are, like, it's from Facebook. I mean, she put it on Facebook. So they found it and he's posting it like it's a big on, like, this is your kids, and yo, you beat your wife, which isn't even true. And everybody knows that's not true. So it's really just sort of like him attempting to hurt me by going low, but really it just comes up impotent and lame.
The crazy thing is seeing obviously Wurzelroot jump on this, and the way that he describes you is I think AF Stream posted this out or watched to their Twitter account, AF Stream Watch, and there's a clip of Wurzelroot talking about you. But for anyone who doesn't know that he's talking about you, he could easily just be talking about Ralph with like, go and take a picture with your daughter. Ralph's obviously not got his daughter around anymore. Like, there's so many little things, and it's just fascinating how they're all like there for Ralph, even though he's been a massive pillhead, fucked up his own life, even though he had everything good going for him. And then everyone's just like, oh, bro. And it's just, and it is one of the things that I can never tell sometimes whether you're just parodying him or whether you're actually like that. Because right now you're obviously like, no, I still love Ralph. But I don't know if that's just the cozy parody that I see everyone trying to love each other on the internet. It's
Why
funny.
did you trust Ralph when everybody told your retarded ass not to trust him? You remember when this all happened in the beginning? Apologize to the A-Log community and repent for your gay spurgery.
Oh, wait, I don't know what you mean by trust him. What trust did I ever put in Ralph? There's no, I mean, I trust Ralph to be Ralph. I mean, that's for sure.
I don't know. Like, I think him being himself is just I just think he's a piece of shit. I think it's really fascinating that a lot of people preach Christian values, and you've got Ralph on that website. It just doesn't make any sense.
Obviously, like a massive contradiction going on, and that's kind of like what I've been working.
But that's all you've pointed it out, and all you've done is that's why you've got people in your audience from the A-Log community, quote unquote. It's because I point this out all day over here. You've got RPG point. You're just doing it while sat on Cozy. That's it. But that now they'll probably get rid of you and get like off the platform because that might happen because how it is. But Ralph's been, even in his zanied state, which was confirmed by Nick Fuentes, Ralph was reaching out to get you banned. Because remember, I don't know if you saw that stream where he said that, and I think you did because you donated $555 to him as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see if I get kicked off. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that really needs to happen. I don't think anybody really believes that either. There's just some people who are sort of mad.
It depends if you
get revenge.
I think it depends if you're making the tithe to Nick still. So.
Well, I am making enough money to keep doing that, by the way.
No, I know. I think that's another thing making him mad.
Yeah, I think that is making him mad. But also, I think the real thing with Ralph is really not like, he might say that, oh, you What was his deal? Like, oh, you said something about my mama or whatever, but
Yeah, he
really?
literally said on here that
Uh,
it's because you said something about his dead mom or made a joke. I don't even know. He
yeah,
doesn't
but
show
that's
it.
bullshit. It's not only bullshit that I didn't do that, but the real reason though.
Or
Let's
you
get
might,
to the real thing.
go,
Not,
go on.
not the thing he said.
I think it's the fact that you're
The
making more
re-
money in viewership than he is.
well, I think even more specific. I think you're on the right track, but even more specifically, than what I think is that he's feeling edged out. Like he's feeling washed up. He's feeling like there's a rising star, or there's a new villain, or I'm just more compelling than he is these days. He's boring.
Yeah. M.A. Mahalik for two says, shut up, asshole, you beat your kids. I guess you can explain that as well, because obviously that's all I know about you is that you've obviously got spousal abuse and child abuse on your record.
Well, so if you're not, for those who aren't tapped in, just on a quick rundown, look, I was going through a messy divorce with my wife. We'd already been separated for 2 years. And one day in the parking lot at the place that we met up halfway between our places, that's how we were doing it at the time. Um, there was a moment where I was hugging my kids goodbye, like putting them in their car seats. They're getting ready to go home with mom. And she got in an argument with me. And it's this type of argument we've been through a bunch of times. But at this time, she decided to say some things she's never said. And I won't get into exactly what it was, but I was hugging my son. He's had his arms around my neck. And she said something to me I wasn't ready to hear. And I just swear to God, it was like I saw red. And before I knew it, it was over. I had grabbed her and I grabbed her basically around the throat, like, like you grab somebody by the neck. I didn't choke her, but I grabbed her by the neck and we were standing next to the car and I pushed her, I shoved her up against the car. And I made her stop talking. Let's just say I just shut her the fuck up because I didn't want to hear another word. And then I let go of her neck, and that was it. And before I even finished hugging my son goodbye, she had her phone out of her pocket, calling the police. And that was the wrong thing to do. That was obviously, but it was just like a lack of self control. Like that moment, she said something. I'm not going to say it, but it was a really bad thing to say to the father of your kids, and whatever. But it was a long time ago. But it didn't. There's no
The piece of
excuse for
shit.
me doing that. There was no
It's
good
a
reason.
piece of shit thing to do. Yeah.
But it was a split second. Seeing red, I regret it. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got a bumper, bruise, or scratch. Nothing like that. But I caught 2 charges from that. One of them is assault on my ex-wife, and the other one is child endangerment because I had my child in my arms when I did that. So I caught 2 charges, like 2 misdemeanors.
But that's that,
I picked
again.
up
That's
trash
just
on the freeway for a whole summer. I went to parenting classes and anger management classes. I paid $10,000 in fines, and I didn't see my kids again for 3 years because of a restraining order that she didn't drop. And it was in that 3 years that I didn't see my kids again that she went and got a new man, married him, made him the dad of my kids, and cut me completely out of their life. And that's what I went through from that one moment. But no, I know this whole thing about Big Tech beat his kids, Big Tech assaulted, beat his wife. It's literally, I mean, I fucking grabbed her, and I'm big. I'm 6'2", and she's like 5'4", and she's like tiny compared to me. But yeah, I grabbed her and I shut it down real fast and forcefully. And I shouldn't have done that. Obviously, duh. Like that's
it's
totally
I think for a lot of people it's also the fact that you can get to that level in front of your children. That's just some fucking, do you know what I mean? That low impulse control.
Me too. But
it's low impulse control. Yeah. It's just, where does that come from? Like, it's just to do that in front of your children as well over words. Like, it's just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me to say that happened. And but I was married for 10 years, and we were divorced because we went down a long road of like, it was very difficult, and there's a lot of people who can relate with that. But that was a moment where it was just like,
honestly,
I broke character in that moment, and it was fucked.
Honestly, I think that the truth is that what you've done is, I mean, what more could you say is going to happen to you, really? I mean, it's just up to God now, really, because from my point of view, I think it's disgusting what you've done, but everything within the realms of possibility in this world have happened to you to the point where you haven't got any real right to your kids.
Well, fortunately, after that 3 years went by, there was no way for her to keep them away from me. So I have my son, and my son, by the way, he went through depression in that time, and she put him into therapy and all sorts of stuff. And as soon as we got back together after that 3 years was over, I saw him the very first day. He sprung back to life. He like absolutely came back. He's the happiest, smartest. Well, he runs cross country. He plays piano, violin, and saxophone. He's tapped in. Like, we talk 3 times a week, and he comes to my house every other weekend. We're best friends. Me and my son have always loved each other since the first day. And the hardest thing he and I have ever been through was that 3 years she kept us apart using the courts. My daughter, on the other hand, she was very young at the time. So she spent that 3 years not knowing me, and that the man that my ex-wife, brought into her family to be my kids' parents, she became knowing him as daddy.
Mm.
So when the 3 years was up, she held my daughter back from me and was like, I don't want her to be confused having two different dads because she doesn't know you now. And I I had to go through like a massive choice. I talked to an attorney. I was ready to go to
I mean,
war for my daughter.
I mean, you
and we
can't
had
really,
letters exchanged.
but you can't really blame her either. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, it actually does make sense. And I was going to say, like, it was insanely difficult for me to come to terms with the fact that actually she's right. I hate it, and I would not want it to be this way at all. Um, but I had to decide, like, do I go to war and put the kids through the stress of fighting in courts, and I'm at odds with their mom, and who knows what she'll say and do if it goes that way, or I can leave it the way it is. She has it the way she wants it, and if all reports from the grandparents and from my sisters and everybody who visits my kids, they say that she's just like beaming. She's happy. She's at peace. Like, I could interrupt that because I want to see her. Um, and also the thing is, I also talked about it with my son one day. My son's with me and we're talking, and we were just vibing so hard. We're having such a great day. And I said, I wish your sister was here sometimes. What do you think? And he slaps me in the arm. He goes, dude, don't ever say that. I go, what? And he goes, she would ruin this. Bro, every other weekend I get away from her. You're my only place I get to be where she's not there. He goes, I love her, but she's my enemy. So I was like, oh, dude, if I could fight in courts to like wreck the situation that's already very happy so I could have my daughter with me, and the person who would pay the price the most would be my son. And so, like, imagine the situation I'm in right there. And I had to decide. I like
But
put
the
it in God's
situation,
hands. Like, I'm gonna let the peace endure, and then what my ex said to me, by the way, is maybe around the time that she's 10 years old, she'll be old enough to be able to process bringing you back into her life in a way that makes sense. And so I'm just kind of waiting. And she's 9, by the way, so I'm like a year away from maybe I'll get to start getting to know her and her getting to know me. And it's just been a rough time.
No, well, yeah, but it's deserved. Like, it's not even. I can't even sit here and feel sorry for you at any point in this. I can't, because it's just this is all the result of your actions. So it's like you've got to deal with that sort of stuff. It's not in a way that I can sit
Yeah,
here.
all of my choices are like, look, I did this, and here's the results. What do I do now to not make it any worse on anybody else who's in my life, and just only be somebody?
I can
only try
understand
to
that.
make it better and not make
trying
it
to
worse.
minimize it. Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like I say, there's nothing I can sit here and say, because I obviously take issue with your actions that you've done. I think you've had, I think everything could have happened to you has happened to you when it comes to that within this reality. But it doesn't mean, obviously, I agree with the actions. It doesn't mean I don't know if you're still that person underneath, and I think that's the same sort of stuff you've probably had to realize with even your wife, and a lot of people are going to see you like that, because where the fuck does that come from in front of your kids?
Sure.
Like, and it's not a reaction you have in front of them. It doesn't matter how bad the day's going. And again, like I said, it's just my again personal opinions, and I think people would agree with that. Now, when it comes down to the Ralph situation, obviously, which is why you're here, I think it's just fascinating that now this is going to be something that he really brings into the fray, regardless, which is fascinating because he's known about this for ages. Didn't you actually go on his show and talk about this at a point?
Yeah, it's one of the first things that came up when I came on Cozy. I was in there one time, and it was RPG who came into the call, and he had found the court documents, and that was the first time this all got aired out, is that he was going to come and hit me with it live on there. So yeah, it's all been known for forever. Sure.
People are saying,
but the thing is that everybody who really knows about it, I think they all know that it's bullshit. He's only bringing it up now as a way of just trying to slander and defame me.
Again, like I said,
I don't mean that it's bullshit, like it didn't happen, but I mean, like, he'll turn it into he beat the shit out of his wife and he beat his kids. Like, he knows that isn't true.
Again, like I say, it's the child you endangered your children, and you definitely put hands on your ex. So I can't disagree with that. It's just, I understand he'll turn it into something different. That's just part of the internet, and
that's
people
what I mean.
blow it up.
He'll just
what you did is still irredeemable. It's from my own personal point of view.
There's no excuse for that. That's horrible behavior. I mean, I deserve everything I went through after that. I mean, you could say that, and not be wrong, but I mean, I only mean that they want to say that I did. They want to say things. They want to say I did things that I didn't actually do. Just say what I actually did, and that's bad enough, right? But like to say that I abused my kids, or like they say that I'm a felon. Like Wurzelroot was doing that Every time that I come up now, it used to
Well,
be
Ralph's a
fine,
felon.
but now they want to
But
say that I'm a
again,
felon child beater.
this is the thing that
It's like,
makes it what's fascinating, right? And this is what fascinates me with the whole situation here is I will honestly tell you why I don't like you, and I'm the same with Ralph, and it's based on your actions, and it's the same with him. But this is what's fascinating is now they're going to make this big picture around you, and Ralph has a domestic violence restraining order against his baby mama, the mother of his son. And all of these things, him not having his door around now because his wife has now left him to go back to her family in New York. All of this is Ralph. But they're going to use this huge thing, and I hate it when Cozy do this. They're going to put it on this big pedestal of these are the things we don't like while they're sat there with Ralph waving the same flag. It's fascinating. No, Big Tech is admitting fault. I know he is. I don't see that he's not admitting fault. It's just his actions were still wrong. Then he does agree. We agree on that. Like it's not that we don't disagree on that. I think we do agree that your actions were wrong. What's happened to you with your family and stuff like that is a reaction. Well, it's the result of your actions, which were you, which we both disagree with.
I don't blame anybody else, and I'm not raw to anybody. I don't feel like it was unjust or whatever. I feel like. I mean, I'm mostly my main feeling about it is obviously just embarrassed, right? I mean, it's embarrassing. It's like that was a shameful, like you said, low impulse. It showed a lack of, honestly, like I found out in that moment, like, oh, holy shit, I have a limit that I just found out what it is. I need to increase the threshold of that limit. Like I said, I was married 10 years, and we went through some very rough moments. And which, by the way, nobody knows that there was one time that the cops came to my house during our marriage. One time. And she went to jail for 2 days. So let me tell you, like I was dealing with something that was not easy to deal with.
No, I can understand. I can understand that.
That's not an excuse.
I can understand you had a toxic. I can understand you've had a toxic
divorce.
Yeah, you've had a toxic relationship.
That I feel very bad about. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's
I
like
feel bad. Like it was not good.
And it's not that she won't have her own faults.
Nobody did get hurt.
Yeah. No, it's not like she doesn't have her own faults. And I know people. I can see people in the chat obviously that are like. Cog thinks this should be punished eternally. That's not my decision. If you're punished eternally, that's not up to me to do. If you're repenting to your God that says that everything's okay because you're repenting to him, then that's what he decides. It's not my decision to make. That's definitely beyond my realm of being able to judge. So it's not how it works. I have my personal opinion on stuff, and that's all I can do. I'm not going to try and change anyone else's. It's yours to have. If you want to listen to Big Tech, you can go and tune into Big Tech. From my point of view, it's just like. I mean, my issues with Big Tech, it's good to actually have the conversation with you, though, to hear your opinion on this and realize that you see it as irredeemable as well because of what you've done and knowing what the outcome of your actions are. You're just glad that it's going well for you now as well as it can be.
You can't undo things that get done. All you can look back and is go like, shit, that blows. Like, how can I just do better? And also, and if anybody's mad about it or upset or disturbed or whatever, you have to let them feel that way too. It's like, well, that's.
Xenomancer says contrition is the word that we're missing. Big Tech has demonstrated contrition for his mistakes, and he was punished for his mistakes. You both agree, yeah, exactly. So I understand that.
Yeah, you'll never hear me say, "Well, she deserved it," or "I didn't do nothing wrong," or like, "Oh, shut up, that's nothing." Or it's like, no, that's extremely embarrassing, and I wish it never happened. As soon as it happened, I felt bad. I felt like. Sort of disgusted in myself. I felt like
okay. People are saying move on back to Ralph, and I can understand that too. I think we've gone over this to its length. Like I say, when it comes down to the whole Ralph situation with you now, which is just literally this is over you. According to what I've seen from CM Reloaded, someone donated a clip through to you that you skipped to do with his mom. And that's why he's angry.
I'd never seen that that clip before. I don't even know what the clip is. It was audio only, by the way. And I was just listening, sort of intrigued because you could hear Ralph's mom talking to him.
You played the pill stream. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right, the pill stream, exactly. It was a hot mic, and she's like, "Wake up!" And he's like, "Oh, what?" And I'm like, "What is this?" His mom's talking to him, and I'm intrigued. And then after like a minute, I go, "This is actually starting to get weird because I think she's dead, right?" Like, oh, this is a little bit too personal. I don't know what's gonna. And so I skipped it. But I'd never heard that. It was just deleted.
No, yeah. It's like I say, but he's turned that into now you've laughed at his dead mom bringing your kids into this. This is simple. Like, it's so basic the way Ralph is. He'll look for any excuse to do this anyway. But like I say, he's been wanting to get you banned since his Xanax days because this was confirmed by Nick Fuentes in his show. So it probably will happen at some point. Maybe, hopefully not, because it's obviously good that you can stay on the website and actually see it for what it was supposed. I just don't understand how they keep wanting to cancel everyone on the website. And this comes from the website run by the most cancelled man in America, apparently. So
Well, here's how I see it is that Ralph is he's launched a very impotent attack on me, which is just sort of embarrassing and goofy. It's not going to hurt me at all, and then I'm just going to be going like, all right, well, um, what was that? Like that was lame. And so I think I just win by not being hurt at all, or not. I'm definitely not destroyed. I mean, like what was that supposed to do? So basically, what I feel like I've done recently is I've earned a level of impunity, or I've like broken the chain off. I'm off the plantation. I can just do what I want, and I'm not a malicious person, so nobody needs to worry about that. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I just want to be able to play and have fun on the internet without everybody trying to like stop me from doing that, and especially fucking Ralph. No disrespect, Ralph. I love the show, and one of my favorite things about Ralph is that he is a big fat disaster. I like that about him. Everybody wants to clown on him and call him a loser, but I like that his life is a mess, and he just makes retarded mistakes all the time. But he's like over the top character who I can laugh at and also enjoy. Like he does bring content that I enjoy. Like he brings characters on, he covers the news, like and he plays music, and he just like wiggles around, does his fat little dance. Like I like him as a content creator, but I also like him as a locale personality. So I get both worlds from him.
I got that.
So
I just like to laugh at him.
I like to watch him with love more than with hate. Like I don't hate him at all. I love watching him, but I also see everything that you guys see, but that doesn't make me hate him. I see everything you see, but I don't hate him for it. I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. I'm totally in. Like, let me watch this forever. It's great. But now he's going at me. So, but that doesn't make me hate him either. Like, go at me. Okay, do your crazy. Like, now I'm just like part of the show that I already like. I'm one of the characters that he hates, and honestly, like, that's really fun. I like being in that spot. Like, woo! I've been watching him hate Warski and hate Gator and hate all these people. Now he hates me. Let's go! Like, it's sweet.
I love how he's done this as well after telling everyone that he's going to get over his fighting everyone streak, which is just brilliant. CM Reloaded is asking, by the way, just to quickly go back, can you ask Big Tech if anyone's attacked your ex-wife or children because of the Ralph posts?
No, that actually happened a year ago already. When BPF made accusations that I was harassing his family, which isn't true, but it was loosely based. It was loosely based on actual facts. I'm not denying the actual facts that happened, but he said that it was more than it actually was, where I was goofing around on the internet. And he said that I was making actionable threats and stalking his family or something, and that made people really mad. And then on Kiwi Farms, they doxed my family, and they contacted my sister and my mom, and then eventually my kid's mom. And she unfortunately replied to one of the messages, and then they got into a conversation with her that really scared the shit out of her. And I didn't see my son for a month because she was really upset and worried. And I ended up having to explain to her what swatting means. And we talked about the idea of talking to the sheriff, letting them know that if they get a phone call, that it might not be real because of internet beef. And she was like, I can't believe I'm getting wrapped into this crazy world that you're in. This is so crazy. So I suffered a bit of that was a hard thing that I had to watch my kid's mom go through, that she didn't deserve that. Like, I'm just over here streaming on Cozy. Now BPF is saying things that I said, and now so that was like the real cost. And also BPF at one point, he told me that he went to the police department in his area and filed a police report about me, which, as far as I know, is the result of that was that the police did go and visit my father, because BPF had my dad's address, and my dad has the same name as me.
Okay.
And I heard that my dad got visited by the cops and he didn't know why. I put two and two together that I think it was the result of BPF's police report that he filed about me because of, again, some rumors that he heard that of what he thought that I was doing on the internet, which, by the way, there was facts, but his interpolation of the facts, his interpretation was way overblown.
Okay.
So that's what already happened last year, but this year nothing's happened. But I did talk to her when Ralph was pilled out and drunk a few weeks ago. When I made my very first comment, I said that he was a funny clown, and I talked about him falling down the stairs at Killstream. Like the lightest little making fun of him just for fun. During the Ali Alexander situation, I was just sort of just like having a free speaking moment where I was just talking freely about things that I see without fear of the reprisals. I mentioned in that stream, Ralph is going to try to fire back at me if he hears this. And he did end up doing that. If you look on his Twitter from a few weeks ago, he was talking about how he's going to talk to my kid's mom at the Dick Masterson studio. He's going to have her in the seat and blah, blah, blah. We're going to get your kids in the room. And it was like, whoa. So I called her and I gave her a heads up. Hey, sorry to tell you this. I know. Remember a year ago? Well, those people, might be trying to contact you again. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. If you get an unknown number trying to contact you, reply at your own risk because it's those same goofballs. And she was like, all right. But that's it. So hopefully nothing happens. But I mean, I think everybody should leave my freaking, kids and their mom alone. Duh. But
I could only. Honestly, I think most people just want to donate to Ralph as he does this, but I don't know if they'll actually go out the way to do that. Matt Lorian is asking as well if you are going to be showing up to Kingpin 2 for fun, or are you going to be visiting Bates, Alaska instead?
God, I had a conversation with somebody last night who insisted that I need to go. I'll just leave it at that. And I'm thinking about maybe I will go, but I don't. But also, if I say that I'm going, it would kind of spoil what I would want to do while I'm there. So I'm not going to answer that right now, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
That unknown.
That's quite nice. So yeah, fair enough. Kind of actually brings excitement
for some very compelling content. I think it might be really fun if I go.
I think it would be fun if you go. And I mean, you were an invited guest for so long, but I mean, he must be angry though because he's gone to his website and taken your name off him. So you're going out now. See you later, little one.
Okay, who did what?
Sorry, my niece is just going out to fight school. Right, yeah, Ralph's got so angry that because obviously he's got the website while he's selling the tickets, and he's got the names of everyone who's going to his event, and obviously your name was on there, Pantsu's was still on there, his wife obviously is, and he's had to take her name off there. He's taken yours off there now. He's still not changed at the bottom the family meetup, the Ralph family meetup. I don't think that's happening either, but he's not changed that. But he must have been that angry that he's gone there, realized her name's there as well, got rid of that, got rid of yours. But then he's left Bryson Gray, but he said on his show the other day that might be a double booking with Bryson Gray, and then the Harrison Smith he needs to contact just to confirm it. But yeah, I wonder who else is going.
He's so funny, dude. He's so petty and vindictive. It's hilarious. He just flies off. I'm gonna get him. This poor bastard. I hope he never changes, though. I think it's funny.
But yeah, this is what we find hilarious: is Ralph raging out and being stupid and going on his warpath. So
yeah, it's wild. So I don't know. Do you have any advice for me going forward? You've been probably looking into this side of Ralph longer than I have.
I mean, there's no real advice going forward.
Any chance of you and Dan flying out to Kingpin?
No, that's 4 days. Are you kidding me? That's not even going to happen. That would have been great, though. Like I say, it was fun. It was fun when we went to Lisbon. That was just because Ralph decided to flag down the channel. Well, he said he wanted to fight me. He said he wanted me to be put out of my misery. We went to Lisbon. That was it. And then he kicked off, and it didn't go well for him. So, but that's why it's funny to watch him. That's real tough.
Well for him. Well, that was really mean of you to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was. I mean, I was going to only go there and just like call him fat and shit. So yeah, I suppose it was mean spirited. Yeah, no, I agree.
He just wanted to carry his fancy bag around Portugal, dude.
He did. But now his blood's in Portugal, so and he is on the pavements of Lisbon. So I mean, he'll be there forever in a way, right? So there are people that have walked out to that spot. People have taken walks out there. Yeah. Oh, he does have battle scars.
That's awesome.
He does. But you've seen what he looks like his massive gun and everything like that. Like because he's acting tough right now, like he wants to fight Boogie. Do you think you'd get into a ring with Ralph? Would you ever fight with Ralph?
No, that would be completely unfair, right?
I mean, someone would have to lose weight or make up gain weight.
Masterson's house. I've been with him at Ralphomania. No, that would not be.
Well, you've actually met him at Ralph Mania as well. What would you say Ralph's height is? There you go, for the people who were always wondering.
Yeah, they say he's. I don't know. It's hard to. The proportions are weird on a body.
He is very very strange looking man.
He's not tall though. He's not tall, but he's not like a Beardson level midget at all.
No, he's not.
But I don't know. He's 5'6", 5'7". He's not. Maybe he's 5'8". I don't know. But he's. I mean, I'm 6'2", but I don't tower over him completely, but I probably got a full 6 or 8 inches on him.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", but my brother-in-law, who obviously, as you've probably seen him meet up with Dan in Lisbon, he's actually about an inch taller than Ralph, and he's 5'6". So we go with about 5'5", but then when he was on the ground, he did have, like, if you look at his trainers, they are very thick-soled as well, which I don't know if that's another thing that he does to kind of add to the height, so the illusion that he's taller. Like, he's just a man wearing high heels, essentially. Like, yeah. And I think so. So when
Well,
people's the 5'1" comes from a legitimate police report. That like his first police report when he was arrested, it came through as like he was measured at 5'1" in the police station.
that's crazy.
That's where it comes
I don't
from.
think he's 5'1". That's just like insanely small. Like that's a comically short
Maybe the ruler was a bit off the
5'5",
ground.
I could probably believe that.
Maybe the ruler was a bit off the ground, or they told him to take off his trainers. Like that's what I think. You've got thick-soled socks and
No,
stuff.
he is a remarkably odd-looking individual.
He is.
I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, like even the color of his skin and the way that his hair is, like everything about him, he looks like a cartoon or something.
Yeah, he really
Even
does.
when
Yeah,
you're with him, it's like he's like a physical manifestation of.
he does stand out. Like when we were in the taxi just going down the road. No, there he is. you just
Yeah.
spot him a mile
Can't
away.
miss
He's
him.
got this. He looks like a pear that's sloping to the side. Almost, and as he walks, like you've got to imagine the bulbous part of the pear going forward, and then the thin part at the top at the back. It's just that's how I see Ralph, and he's got these spindly legs underneath. It's something else entirely. It really is. But again, like I say, what do you think is the future of your channel and Cozy as well?
Boy, I'm just day by day in it here. I mean, I don't have a master plan, even though people try to, hypothesize about what it is. They've got conspiracy theories about me and all sorts of crazy stuff. But honestly, I'm just fielding fly balls out here. But crazy shit keeps happening with Yay, and then Milo and Ollie, and then Ralph's all on pills and he's drunk, and then I gotta run in with this or that person. So we're just kind of just evolving as we go. But what I am finding out is that a lot of people who are fans of Nick and fans of Ralph, and maybe in your part of the sector or whatever too, they're just really enjoying what I'm doing. So I'm just going to keep doing that, I guess. I'm not trying to like double down on any particular strategy. What I'm doing is just being myself, telling the truth about what I think and how I feel. But the thing is that I truly do really love everybody. And that's like even a meme in our thing, like the love speech and stuff. But I am actually a very, I'm not trying to like, polish my own knob or whatever, but I'm like a very loving guy. Like I've never been mad at you, Cog, even when you and Dan went and attacked Ralph. And I thought that was really mean. Even when Kiwi Farms did a thread about me, like saying all sorts of crazy shit and digging into my life. When you've called me a wife beater before and RPG and stuff, I've never actually been mad at any of you guys. And not even just emotionally, but I've never really held a grudge or felt ill will toward you guys. I've really sort of just felt like this is really fun and there's a lot of cool people from different sides. And I like freaks. I like freaky weirdos. I like nerds. Everybody is cool, and I'm just glad to be here. That's just what I'm going to keep doing.
Do you think, because obviously you caused a lot of ruckus with Nick Fuentes recently by pointing out that he shouldn't have stayed in the room with Milo, and do you think that's something that's going to blow over? Do you think that's like going to be a thorn in Nick's side, or?
I mean, it's going to be a little thorn, sure. I don't know how it's going to play out. I really don't, but I really believe in Nick. Like Nick is a special guy. He has like a lot of talent, a lot of charisma. He has an insane level of self-belief, and there's
really
something about him that I think, and I think because of all those things and maybe other things too about him, I think he's going to pull through this, and we're just going to go on to the other side. And some people are saying that even what I've been doing is anti-AF, and I'm trying to hurt it, but I think that what America First is Nick. That's what it always is to me.
But again, so from their point of view, if you're obviously insinuating in a way that Nick is or acted in a weird, a sussy manner, we'll say, okay, because he stayed in the bedroom with. I mean, it's fair from my point of view. Nick went live to a Twitter space. He told everybody that he felt like he was almost raped by Milo, but stayed in his room for the evening on the floor. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me anyway. But like,
my criticism was not that it makes him seem sussy like gay. But to me, it just seemed like a loose choice. It's like everybody knows that Milo. What's Milo famous for? You've seen that picture where he's holding up the orange hard drive. He's like, I've got blackmail material on everybody. I've got the vault of information. And he's known for running scams and ripping people off and lying and tricking people and deceiving. He's very like Weasley, Machiavellian serpent guy. Everybody knows this for years. This was just a month or two after Lauren Southern released this 10-hour documentary where she's just running down everything Milo ever did. Like everybody already knows that Milo can't be trusted.
They knew
it's
this.
Just like flying around, traveling with them, sleeping in the room with them. Like, bro,
he's not the only one though. Like,
shocked me.
But the thing is that himself, Baked Alaska, even Ralph came out as saying, well, he's repented for his gay past, so therefore we should all embrace him as a heterosexual man. When they all knew he wasn't. Like, it was just ridiculous. And it's just
so I thought like I wonder if it's even a symptom of Nick's sense of imperviousness. Like, is he has such a high level of self-belief that he feels like he's invincible even to scandals? And maybe we'll find out that he is. Or maybe he'll learn from this one and go, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't just be trusting the plan so hard that I'm letting myself do anything, even I shouldn't say sleep around, but I mean, like, spend the night in a room with Milo, be in text communications, like a high level of pretending to be his friend. Like, maybe, I don't know. That's kind of like my thought. And I'm not telling Nick what to do. I'm just sort of doing commentary as a streamer on the situation. And I want to just say the way I see it. And it's from my angle. And I'm 40 years old and Nick's 24. And so, like, down the road for me and from the position I'm in I haven't been an extremely online person my whole life. I've worked with men. I used to work in the fire department on an ambulance. I've been through all sorts of different like paramilitary academies.
No, but that's the thing. If you've worked in, trust me, when you work in jobs, you completely you see the difference.
Like, I've been with men, and I'm like, this is a strange. And from my frame, I go like, that was a weird. These are some weird choices. I would not associate that way.
Like, I think
if I did, I would be like very careful.
I think with Nick as well, it's always been a thing that he played when he started off on the internet. Was it's all about the optics, and his optics are quite terrible right now. In fact, actually, what's your opinion as well on the Ye 24? Is Milo there running it with him? Is it Nick running it with him? Do you know what's going on there?
My take has been this the whole time, and I can't believe I don't hear this more. I feel like I'm crazy. I'm like, what world am I in where nobody's talking about this? Remember Harvey or Harley Pasternak? Remember who that is? That's the trainer or whatever guy that was working with Ye, where he said this guy was drugging me. He's like a Canadian ex-CIA handler who threatened him with the text message, and he said, you got to play ball or else we're going to pill you up again and you'll be back to zombie land and visits with the kids will never be the same again. Remember that? Ye was sharing that with everybody. They're trying to drug me and make me into a zombie. Well, all of a sudden, a few months ago, we don't hear from Ye anymore. Every time we see a picture of him, he looks like a freaking zombie. And all of a sudden, Milo's back in charge of the thing. Well, to me, it's like, dude, they got him. Like, he got this sexy bitch in his life. He married her. She's slipping the pills in his drink. She's a freaking a Black Widow agent. And they zonked him out. And Milo, his payment to get the job back, right? The deal is like, oh, well, we need you can be in charge of Ye and you'll get a big old salary, but you're going to have to burn Nick Fuentes. So we watched Milo burn Nick with the Ollie stuff. He went hard on Nick, and now Milo's back in charge, and Ye's pilled out, and Milo's running a zombie campaign. I mean,
it's really weird because every time when I watch Nick, though, Nick is constantly he's constantly like, no, there's still some good. Like, he keeps going on like there's news, like he's getting text messages from Kanye during the show. So I don't know if Nick is still involved with that as well. But I mean, you're not going to know. It's like you said with the Baked Alaska stuff as well, when his involvement's still with Ali Alexander, which Nick has obviously said that's still ongoing. You got that out of him. And he lied about that initially, but you can't criticize him on it anymore because Cozy I mean, he's got to be this infallible leader. Otherwise, I guess it doesn't work for Nick. He's got to be he can't be flawed, like, I guess is the way he sees it.
Nope. That's the way I think a lot of the guys have fun with that meme of just, Nick is, he's Hitler 2, 3, and 4. He's the God Emperor. He's like Jesus Christ himself or something. They treat it like that. I don't know if it's because they actually believe that or just more like that it's fun. It's just fun. Like, one of their favorite memes is Despicable Me, where it's like Groot with all the minions, and they like to see themselves as the minions who'll just do anything, and they're sort of invincible in their own way too. You know, the minions are basically like made of rubber or whatever, and so they just like that idea of having like an evil, evil genius superhero, super bad guy villain, and they think of Nick that way, but. In this, because we're all in the Upside Down, so the villains are the.
But it's just
guys.
all one massive meme.
But so they meme hard into that. So anybody who breaks that meme is sort of like ruining the fun. So if you say no, Nick actually made a mistake here, and he needs to take a second look at it, they're like, oh, you're ruining our fun. We're having.
I don't see it like that. I think they get exiled for mild criticism. I think even criticism. I mean, all fun. The no fuck you text to Baked Alaska just tells you how fucking fickle Nick is being right now. Really.
I felt bummed out by the Baked Alaska thing a little bit, but I've talked to Baked a couple times since then, and Baked is in good spirits, and I'm really glad he's showing like really good character. He's taking.
I have my issues with Baked based on plea deals and the fact that he has to get less time in prison because his footage was the thing that helped to prison people from January 6th. I have my issues with Baked based on what he said. I got a question though for you from the lovely Mr. Vickers saying, "Will Big Tech admit that Ethan Ralph is a convicted sex offender? He can still have love for Ralph. That's his choice. He just kind of wants to hear you say that Ethan Ralph is a convicted sex offender." So.
Okay, I looked into that, and I'm a fan of accuracy. And as far as I could tell from the documents that were showed to me, he's a convicted sex trafficker. What? To me, what sex offense means that you did a sex crime, but what he did is a sex trafficking crime, which is a little bit different. A sex offense is when you do a sexual aggression on somebody, but what he did is he trafficked in sexual photography that was illegal. So I don't like it. I don't like calling him a sex offender. I think he's a convicted sex trafficker.
I just see it as, a revenge porn is a sexual offense or under the list of sexual offenses. So, in that regard, he's convicted of a sexual offense.
Yeah, it's a little bit blurry, but I mean, we're doing a little bit of. I think there's a distinction with a little difference in there. But
Ralph thinks it's a bloody copyright issue.
I think the people who like to say that. Yeah, I don't think the copyright issues like that's just silly. Retarded. I mean, it was obviously like a grimy and shitty, and I think should be illegal. I don't think you should be able to do that. I don't think you should be able to.
Would you not say a sex trafficker is a sex? Would you not say a sex trafficker is a sex offender though? Because it traffics sex, but that woman can be abused within the trafficking. That's kind of one of the main things, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but I guess like when I think of sex offender, I know
this is all just to confirm. By the way, this is the same woman that he also does have a domestic violence restraining order against.
Yeah, why don't you just call him a sexual pervert, deviant, whatever. But sex offender to me means like you're on a registry and you have to go around and knock on doors and say, hi, I'm not allowed to be within 100 feet of a school. And
that's if you're on the registry. So I see him as a sex offender because he committed a sex offense.
But like as a pimp, like what if there's a pimp who like...
oh, Gromit, happy 40th birthday.
Women. Is he a sex offender?
Yeah, again, like I say, from a point of view, people would probably see it like that. I'm sure he'd go down for some sort of sexual crime.
Yeah, I don't like what Andrew Tate does, but that's like not anything near what Ralph did. But I wouldn't call him a sex offender.
It's a sexual. But again, it's a sexual offense because the lack of consent involved with distributing the images. So it's not like, you know what I mean. It's the lack of consent involved with that.
Well, tell you what, if you guys want to categorize it that way, I don't know if it's technically accurate, but honestly, I don't get mad when I hear people say convicted sex offender because I think that was offensive to me. Yeah. So I'm offended.
So would you say that Ethan Ralph
sex offender if I want? He's sexually offensive to me.
Do you want to say Ethan Ralph is a convicted sex offender then?
Actually, I'm going to deny you that. I don't want to say it, mostly just because you guys want me to say it so bad.
Oh God, it's going to be one of those then. Going to be one of those.
Nah, I don't like to be pressured to say things.
How about you never call him that? Aha, let's see if we can do the reverse psychology.
Actually, you might. All right, I might comply with that one. But I will say, I think. Now, I'm not here to throw stones at anybody except for, not even Ralph. I'm not even really here to throw stones at Ralph. I'm just here to talk about it because he's throwing stones at me.
Oh, he's throwing stones at your entire family.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But the thing is, like, I'm not happy with every detail of how it's been with my family, but I'm quite pleased with my family. My family's beautiful and healthy, and like the situation is very, it's not ideal. Like the ideal situation is, obviously there's a whole portrait that looks different than the one that we have right now, but But everybody's happy and healthy and beautiful and smart and well fed, and it's all good. And so you can just kind of like post pictures of them, which is sort of just like I wish you wouldn't. But honestly, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's like, how does that really hurt me? I don't really get it.
It
So it's
doesn't,
sort
but
of
it's
just
just
like an impotent rage. It's like an impotent attack.
my
That kind of makes
personal
him
opinion is
pathetic.
just like he is pathetic. That's all I'm pointing out. It's like you're bringing kids into this, and it's all the potential that in a weird way he wants there to be some backlash, like you've obviously said you've had with BPF and stuff. It's he wants that backlash. He wants that to happen to them. That's why he does that and it's all out of rage. I think Harry Morris has also said in the chat that's the grandfather of Ralph's daughter is saying he'd be honoured to buy Big Tech a ticket to Kingpin since you've lost your VIP status.
Okay. Well, if I go to Kingpin, I probably won't need a ticket.
I honestly think I think Ralph's going to crusade against you to try and get you off Cozy, only because I think he sees that you're making as much money as he is on the same website. You're bringing in the viewership, if not more viewers as well. People have obviously made fun of this on the internet, though, and this is the thing: is he started reaching out. I think it was during you had a bit of a back and forth. I think it was with Beardson or something like that. And then Ralph obviously went to, and this is when he went to Nick, and Nick obviously said this in his show that people, because he was raging about you in his show for a moment and said Ralph reached out, and I'm pretty sure it's the same show you sent him the money, and it was the funniest thing to say. And then he even says during the donation, he was just like, "Did I say cancel Big Tech?" And go, "No, we love him now. Like we love him."
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Nick is the best, dude. I freaking love Nick, and even if you guys want to make fun of him and everything, I see everything you guys say. I just love him. I just love that guy. I think he's funny and cool, and I love being on Cozy. And he does pay for my bandwidth, for crying out loud. He literally does pay for that. So I mean, the idea of kicking him up some money that I'm earning off of his platform is like a no-brainer to me. It's absolutely
See, now that's the funny part to me. So obviously you do this. There's Brittany from Politically Provoked. There's other people like Mio and stuff that do it as well. I don't think I've ever actually seen Ralph send Nick a donation. And I don't think you ever will, because it's not like Ralph barely wants to pay his own staff.
Anytime I've seen that either. Yeah.
You won't, because he always 100%. He's got his back to the ends of the earth because he's got a platform to stay on, but he won't actually put money into it. Like he wouldn't. He didn't even put money into his own show and his own staff for years. Like Gator was getting paid $100 a month for running a website and then the show.
When I saw Ralph go to Mexico, which he did in secret, but even when he revealed, but I don't know, he was there for plenty of time. And then when Kino Casino came out with their new studio, like that was such a flex because he sits there in front of a green screen that's not even like, he doesn't even put anything interesting behind him.
No.
His overlay's made by somebody else, Gamer Aesthetics. Like Ralph, like what are you doing? Like all he does is he just drinks and does drugs and just sits there. It's like it's just so low effort and lazy. It's sort
And
of
I sit here,
offensive,
I sit here laughing
It's
at
actually offensive that you don't put a little bit more effort into the craft and what you're doing. He's just kind of phoning it in ever since Ralphomania. If you notice, it was like a lot of build up to Ralphomania. We all went to the event. I flew across the damn country. I paid over $1,000 and took a whole weekend of my life. I got people to babysit my pets, and I went to fucking Ralphomania to participate. And as soon as I came back, I'm ready to like, yo, let's go. That was so cool. Let's keep. And now Ralph just like disappears and then comes back drunk and on drugs. Dude, what are you doing? No, keep going. Keep the energy up. Like he just dropped it completely, which was a massive letdown and very, bad form, shameful. He owes us better than that. He should have a cool studio. He should have a cool aesthetic. He should have. He should be killing it. He should be on a weight loss adventure. He should be posting pounds every day on the scale. He should be kicking ass. His Pantsu, he took fucking Pantsu to Mexico, where it's scary, by the way, with a baby. And like, dude, get your shit together. Treat people right, including your fans. Put in some effort and do something you can be proud of instead of just being such a spiteful little baby. Ralph, that's what I'd say to you.
I honestly think he's broke, though, as well, because there's a lot of stuff that he could sort, but he can't, because I don't think he's got the money. I think he's in a lot of debt, which is obviously there are people that have shown records and stuff to show that he's in about, what was it? Was it 70 grand of debt or something stupid? He's got a lot of debt. So it's like, he's made 200,000, and even his wife asked him, where's the money gone? Pantsu asked him, where's that money gone? And he went mental at her, and that became a meme, obviously, because where did it go? Why have you got 200,000, but you're bragging about living in Mexico because it's so cheap, but then you still haven't got the money? And it's like he owes $800 a month to his son in child support. He'll probably have to start sending money like that to Pantsu at some point. He spends $800 in rent, according to what he said, because that's a good end, obviously, of a good end living. But then he has to drive out everywhere to just go to like a Walmart or something. He has to drive to go and do that instead of actually staying near. Any electronics he's buying, it's more expensive because he's in Mexico. It's just you think he'd have money or have something put away or something like that, but he's gone from affording his court costs to not even paying for his court costs now. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to save money, but it's like, but where is this money going to? We know that he's like, he had a load of money off his audience for 2 plane tickets that he didn't even go to that. He didn't even go to Washington, D.C.
That was crazy. That was crazy. I saw that one. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know those details. You know more than me. I assumed that he's got money because I've watched him day after day after day hit 7, 8, 900, 1,000, 12.
Yeah, right. You think, and where does it go?
I'm watching you, dude. Where does 30 grand in a month
disappear to?
Where did that go? Did he just lose a bunch of money on Ralphomania? I mean, there's plenty of
yeah. No, he did. No.
So I made money.
I did a little small documentary on Ralphomania. He definitely lost money on that. If you go through just standard prices for stuff, he lost money on it, and it's all based on. Oh god, it was to do with he'd bought back extra plane costs and stuff like that. There's extra stuff that he'd done as well. Let's not forget his whole wedding was credit card fraud to Harry Morrissey's, and that's her father. They were committing credit card fraud on his father-in-law's name to get married. Like it's just, oh man, just mental, absolutely mental.
That's a mystery. Yeah. I don't know where the money's going. Then I assume that he's got a stack of cash he's sitting on.
I assume he does. I assume he does, but it's just you've got to start asking the questions. Like his wife's leaving, she's not got any food for rent. She didn't have any money for rent when they went to California. When he went to Dick Masterson's, that's why she's not there. And he got back, and the first thing you saw Ralph say was, "Oh yeah, I had to pay my rent when I got back." They take cash here. Yeah, I know, because you've had to pay. You didn't even have your rent paid. Are you kidding me? Like it's just. And that's what she's dealing with. No rent, nothing paid for, probably no food in the house. And it's just, yeah, she's better off going back home at that point because he doesn't provide, Ralph. It's all a big thing for the Christian audience, the Christian conservative audience. Hey, look, got my wife. Hey, look, got my kid. Oh, I've got some issues over here legally, but it's not me. It's not me. And he's the common denominator in all of his issues. So, because we watch. Why do you think I do a show on this, and I've been doing it for this many years? It's a literal cycle with Ralph. Last year, he was getting his ass kicked in Lisbon, and now he's literally going through this divorce, and he's having this big feud with you. Like, this happens literally, like, every 6 months or something, so...
Well...
And he's sober now.
I'm here for the content.
He's sober.
To see what happens next.
He's sober and he can't stop.
18 days, almost 3 weeks. We're proud of him. That's amazing. He's blowing in that breathalyzer. How embarrassing.
What are your opinions on, like, whether you want to talk about this or not, on Pantsu obviously leaving? I know you've been briefed there about it, but because obviously he's got married to her. You've obviously met her in person at Ralphomania as well. And then, he's just gone down this drugged alcoholic fueled life to literally to her leaving. I mean, I honestly think it's crazy, but what are your opinions on that? Like,
well, I felt I was sort of like in, I don't know what's the word, like I was impressed. I was in awe. It was like the fact that she would, let alone like touch Ethan Ralph. Like, I thought like, wow, she's a special lady. But then she went to Mexico with him with a baby. And she was, as far as I could tell, she was in good spirits. She was like chipper, and she had like a smile on, and she was upbeat, and she was willing to go on the stream. Like how is she there and not like throwing a fit? Like, get me the fuck out of it. Like the fact that she was down for an adventure with Ethan Ralph, on one hand makes me sort of like admire that level of willingness to just go with the flow. But also maybe if I were to not be as charitable, I'd be like, this is a little bit worrisome. Like she's not really expecting much out of her life or something. Like, I don't know. But maybe she was having more fun than I thought or whatever. But I could definitely imagine, like, look, I was worried. I was uncomfortable. And I'm watching Ralph from the other side of the screen. Like all of us, everybody in my Discord, everybody I know is like, we need to pray for Ralph. But they're asking me, Big Tech, Ralph, is there any way you can do an intervention? This is getting like dangerous. Is he going to die? And Pantsu's there with the baby. Like, what if something goes wrong and they need him and he's like drunk and pilled out? Or imagine how Pantsu must feel. She's probably terrified and she's trying to raise a young one. Like everybody was worried over here. So I can't imagine what it was like to be Pantsu down there.
What do you
and then to see him so anyway, the fact that she left is terrible. That's the result, but also it's like surprising. No, it's sort of like, well, of course.
Did you see the wedding?
I saw pictures of him with Elvis. No, I didn't watch it.
You've not watched the Killstream the movie.
Hey, maybe that'll actually
That's content, right? I was about to say, if you've not seen Killstream the movie, that's Ralph goes to Rome to own the A-Logs and then also gets married alone with just him and Pantsu, and they leave their child there alone, like as they leave the... It's just, man... And then they go to White Castle afterwards to have their wedding dinner. White Castle. I'm not even lying.
That's some high class shit right there.
Yeah, and again, this guy's making how much a day? You see him making $500 a day, but he takes her to White Castle for a wedding, and he gets married in a Las Vegas fucking shitty chapel for like $1,000, using someone else's credit card. Like, it's just. Sorry, yeah.
My theory on Ralph, I mean, I can understand why he would say that the mom thing was crossing the line, which, by the way, I didn't, like, pull up something about his mom and doing it. Like,
no, someone donated through
a video. I listened to it for a minute because it was intriguing, and then but after just a minute, I was like, all right, this is kind of, I want to get out of this, so I skipped it. But what I do know, because he talks about it so much, I think Ralph is just a brokenhearted dude who just really loved his mom. And when she died, I don't think Ralph needs to, I don't think he's got to that place where he's gotten over that. I don't think he's like found another reason to live or something like that. There's a hole in Ralph's heart that he's trying to fill with attention or with money or with experiences or with a wife and a kid. He's looking for with drugs and with Xanax. Like there's something in Ralph that's aching, and I think it's related to his mom, and I think that's really sad. But I don't know. I don't know what it'll take for him to get that fixed, if that's possible, or if it'll just haunt him forever. Like, I don't know.
I think it's something that will just carry on. He's never going to get over it not being able to be there for his mum's death, because he wasn't there for his dad's death, you see. So he wasn't there for any of the... He wasn't there for his blooming dog's death. Like, he left it in a bloody kennel. So, like, he's not been there for any of the 3 most recent deaths to happen, like, close to him. Like...
That's brutal, dude. No,
yeah, it is, but
haunted, man. Imagine trying to lay your head down and sleep.
We've heard. Well, do you know the recording that came through to you? If you actually listen back to that half of it's him whimpering in his sleeper as well. When he says stuff like "It's not true," which sounds like we got it here. There you go. There.
It's not true.
That's just him screaming in his sleep about things he's reading on the internet. That's him asleep. Like, that's the demons in his head. I got $10 as well from Mr. Vickers saying, while technically inaccurate because, I know more about this than Big Tech does, a convicted sex trafficker is actually way worse legally than convicted sex offender, so he's still smiling. There you go. He's still happy.
All right.
There you go.
All right, everybody's happy. Dude, speaking of, just a funny story, not the last time, but the time before that, my son was here. We got the every other weekend thing. He woke me up. We were both asleep. He woke me up. Laughing in his sleep. It was just like laughing. I've never heard anybody laugh in their sleep, but he's doing this. He's doing like the
yeah.
Like he was busting up so hard that he couldn't stop. He was like trying to stop. So whatever his dream was, it was so funny that I've never seen anybody do that. It was so cool. That was the best. But yeah.
Mel Lorian for 5 is...
imagine just being haunted in your dreams, man.
He is, yeah. Mel Lorian for 5 is saying, don't forget he ignores his mental brother Evan. He's stuck in a home and stole all his assets. Now, people say that. Ralph has obviously said... So that's like internet lore. I don't know what's real about this and what's not sometimes. It's just kind of how it is. But Ralph's version of this, because he has obviously mentioned his brother Evan, he says that people are lying and he's actually just got cerebral palsy, if I'm not wrong, something like that. I think it's cerebral palsy that he's got. And that so it's not that he's in a mental institution or something. That's the only time he's ever been brought up, is to mention that. But Metalorian is saying it's 100% real. There you go. Oof. Oh wait. Oh my God. Is there a Saturn? Oh my God. No. Oh my God. 1 second. Give me a second. I think Saturn tried. AK Pansy might have posted out a tweet. Is it what's no weenies allowed? Buying this doormat for my first paycheck. I was wondering this the other day. Oh my gosh. So, oh my gosh, right, right. So, Ralph has been mentioning this thing, which we've obviously gone over, because in his show he's spoken about Pantsu, and he's spoken about how she's got a bit of a wanting to be with women streak going through her, right? we've obviously laughed at this from the point of view that Ralph has laughed at people like, 1 second, let me get this. Ralph has obviously laughed at people like Jeff Holiday, because Jeff Holiday is married to his wife, but she obviously also sleeps out on him with women and he copes with this by saying, well, I haven't got a pussy and she has got so she obviously wants to go and get some pussy. Now, it's not really good now that obviously Ralph's wife, who's not with him anymore, is posting out, I'm buying this doormat with my first paycheck, which is no weenies allowed, right next to the bed, by the way. No weenies allowed in the bed. Right? And not only this, and I was honestly thinking this the other day because she retweeted, there was a haters saying that I only have one shirt there, right? And it's a woman wearing a shirt that says, they don't build statues of critics. And then but it's just a woman's body. I don't know what this has got to do with anything, but she's decided to retweet this body of a woman. And I just thought that's a little bit strange. And now she's posting out no weenies allowed. And I'm just kind of like, that could be Rosie's bed, says Missy. It could be Rosie's bed. You're right. It could be no weenies allowed. Exactly. That's fair. Let's read it that way. Let's be fair to Ralph and read it that way, that it's actually Rosie's bed. Okay, will be nice. Will be nice. I have my own personal feelings to where this might go, and I think that she might be going down a bit of a homosexual path. I don't know. I don't really know how to go with Pantsu. She seems to mimic anyone she's with. She was with Digibro, who was trans and also into cartoon child porn, and then she's broken up with him to get with Ralph, and Ralph's his own mess, and then obviously she's not with him now, and I think she may be going down. Ralph's made mentions of this as well in his show about this, and we've laughed at it.
Well, the quote I always remember from, I think it was the first time they spoke, like she was a guest on the show, and there was one thing that she said.
She said in man, yeah.
That kind of rung out to me. She said, she said of herself, she's like, I always feel like I'm a man who's stuck in a woman's body.
Yeah, she does. Remember she does. Yes, I do. We've gone over that. Yes, she definitely did.
Yeah. I think that's very telling. Like, oh, what a thing to say about yourself. So I think she's a very interesting person. I'm looking forward to some more Pantsu content. I hope she starts streaming or something. That would be awesome. And she was very sweet at Ralphomania. I rolled around on the floor and played with little baby Rosie, and it was like a very nice time. And she was just smiling and happy the whole time. She's very pleasant. She dressed up for the event, and she was very busy helping, and she was just cool. I mean, that's all I can say about her.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Like I say, it's I think Ralph's relationship with Rosie is something else entirely, though. I think it's really noticeable when she's can't wait to be with Pantsu and stuff like that. But then it's almost like there's not even a smile or anything. It's just this straight face. But I don't know. Maybe it's just kids in it. So who knows? People make their own inferences from that. She looks like a man dressed as a woman, says Reese Donald. There you go. Angela Martin, she says that to be like, I'm not like the other girls, ooh woo. Well, to be fair, she did also say she thought she could do better than Ethan Ralph in one of her early interviews on the Kill Stream. So that was another thing she said.
I think everybody should be friends. I think everybody should be friends and get along. But then if they can't, then oh well, and then they should just fight, and that'll be cool too.
I just don't do internet friends. See, this is the issue. I don't do internet friends because the thing is, you should be able to call people out when they're doing weird stuff online. Like, you should be able to say to Nick, like, why did you stay in the room with a gay man? You should be allowed to ask that question, but then it's like, no, you can't. And that's why Cozy's becoming like a hug box, and we can only hope that it doesn't become like that by keeping yourself on there and baits and stuff to...
Well, it's turning into a battle arena now that I'm here. We're all fighting. No more hugging. Hugging days are over. Now we fight to the death. That's what Cozy is now.
Gosh. I hope so. I'm looking. I love the Cozy Civil War because I've expected this since Ralph went over there. Because I was like, there is no way you can sit there as America First and promote like conservative values with a guy who only goes against those values. Like, the guy's drugged up all the time. He's an alcoholic. He's got a child in another bloody state that it took him a year to be forced to pay child support to. He goes on like he did all this voluntarily. Like, it's it's crazy how this. I just find this fascinating. Like I say. But we've been following this for the last few years, obviously, when it came to Ralph. Obviously, I was expecting exactly this today. Ralph obviously goes down the whole wife beater route, the child beater route, and it's like, but he's been on your show. He had literally up until yesterday, you were invited as a guest. Like, do you know what I mean? Like an actual, you were supposed to draw the crowd in to his event. And then now it's like, oh yeah, but he also beats kids. And why wasn't this a thing? Like, I've never spoken to you. So I've obviously spoken to you about that today. And I'm not going to go any further with it. I think we've had a good conversation around that. But when it comes to Ralph, you've spoken about this. So why bring this up now? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
other than because this is how these people always work. And this is why it becomes this hug box thing that you're never going to like over there. They all do this. They all kiss up to Nick and they kiss up to Ralph and they kiss up to each other. But if you have a feud, have a conversation about it, whether it's public or private, that shouldn't matter. But it's to do with egos at that point. When it's public, it's to do with egos, and when it's not public, it's not to do with egos. And that's the issue: is when you do something publicly on your show, their ego is going to come involved with that. So Ralph's on a warpath with you, and he'll tell Nick to get rid of you and stuff like that. Nick's going to be conflicted because you've also supported his show, but he's hearing that from everybody. But he's also about free speech, and he doesn't want to kind of cancel because he's been cancelled. But I don't know with Nick though, because when people get flagged down for having a laugh at Ralph and Ralph flags them down, he's defended that when he was debating Mr. Metica. So, like I say, it's been all over the place, really. So,
yeah, well, I can understand the reaction from Ralph. I mean, I would assume. I mean, he would probably deny it, but there's a level of panic on his side. But there's also another ingredient is that he's a showman, so he recognizes that I've drummed up tons of energy around me as a character. Yeah. So, I mean, he made $1,000 on Saturday just sitting there collecting donuts, just saying that he was going to attack me. Like just by talking about me, he makes money now. So I mean, it's a obvious move in that way. And also, it also gives him something to do. I mean, he really needs something to latch onto. Like, what does he really have right now, other than to be angry at me? I mean, like, that's something for him to do. I mean, what's his content really even about?
Oh, it's either going to be he's angry at you, Tucker Carlson and CNN clips, or his sobriety. Because that's all he's talking about really right now is his sobriety. Like for hours,
but I wish him well. I hope he gets back on his feet and really starts making some good content again. And I hope he finds his way through this. I hope he turns it all around. I wish him nothing but the best. I want to see it. I mean, you said there's a cycle, so maybe he's gonna. Dick in the dirt moment again, and then we'll see the victorious meteoric rise to a new thing. Like that'd be great.
Well, last question for you before you go is going to be, I just want to find, and this is Machiavelli in the chat as well. Do you see America First and obviously Cozy as a Christian group and a Christian platform?
It's a very difficult question right now because what I've been noticing a lot is the very extra Christian people, the ones who want to throw it in your face like first thing, and it's not even really Bible verses, but just sort of like false piety, and it's sort of like a Christian virtue signal. These people are grimy. Like these people are just very grimy and petty and egotistical and untrustworthy and duplicitous and all the rest of it. But on the other hand, though, there are a ton of people who I know that are tuning in, mostly the fans, the ones who watch. They really, really want something pure, and not like I mean, like they really want a Christian movement, and they're here for that, and they love that, and really, it's the Christian charity in these guys who are willing to even forgive and overlook and be charitable and patient with the streamers themselves.
Yeah.
But then the top influencing people in the movement, as I get to know them, not every one of them, of course, but the ones really that I'm sort of locking horns with, they're just bastards. So it's like, is it a Christian movement? Well, it's hard to say. But I think there are sincere believers, let's say. But I think the actual Christian virtue that Christianity is intended to, be producing the fruits of, it might be lacking a bit.
Do you think
I'd like to see that improve?
Would you say there's a cult of personality with anyone on the platform?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, what else is it? I mean, it's exactly that. I mean, that to deny that would be like insane. I mean, firstly, it's with Nick, but then every even streamer has their own little personality cult that they're fostering under the big one. I mean, that's essentially what it is from top to bottom, except for a few. Notably, like maybe Vince James, right? Like we love him, not necessarily because of his charismatic personality, but because he's just like very info dense. He's got the folders and he's got the documents, and he's there's people like that. There's E. Michael Jones, who does have sort of like an interesting personality, but he's a prolific author.
I think the most
interesting. There's other people who are really bringing info.
I think the aspects of the cult that I'm talking about, though, is like, because people have they'll have their own followers and stuff like that. But I think it's when a follower or at least a subscriber basis doesn't have the ability to call out the person they're viewing for something they might disagree with and have that conversation without being shunned out of the group. That's what I mean by the cult of personality. I honestly think I see that a lot with Ralph, obviously, especially with him banning all your fans today and including yourself after you turned up for one word. So that's, I know that's obvious with Ralph. I think it's I think you get that a lot with Nick as well, though, because you see it in people tweeting about how you can't have a different opinion from Nick, and people will literally vote based on what Nick says, and it's just, I think that got it's
the way I see it is like with Nick, for example. I mean, America First it became a cult of personality based on following Nick, who is an incredible personality, who follows Donald Trump, who is the ultimate cult of personality. I mean, he became president based on his cult of personality. Trump is really not much other than a bombastic personality. And we went, okay, this rules. We want him to be the president. That'll be super fun. And so we did that. And then, you know, there's then kind of after that, then there's the ideology and the Trumpism and the pushing of the right-wing narrative or whatever. And then the thing is, like you said about you're not allowed to, as they say, counter signal or whatever. But Nick will do that with Trump from time to time. Like when we saw Trump do his initial his first campaign speech, his announcement, Nick hated it. He was just like, boo, that sucked. I'm out. If this is it, I'm out. That blows. We can't have this. If this is what it is, I'm not part of it. Like, so does that mean Nick is counter signaling Trump? Does that mean we hate Trump now? It's like, well, no, the point is like when Trump does a thing, remember when he was initially speaking, he was saying how great the vaccine was, and he did Operation Lightspeed, and it's your choice if you want to get it, but I support the vax. And what did the crowd do? The crowd went, boo, fuck you, we don't want the vaccine. The whole crowd booed him. Yeah. And now what? Trump doesn't talk about the vaccine anymore.
Oh yeah, of course.
So like there is a level of feedback from the audience that I think even a cult of personality leader is going to benefit from. It's like, oh, that's not the messaging that works.
I think
okay,
I think the only
messaging. So I think it's good for Nick to hear back from some of the people. Like, if there's no feedback, then he's going to do what he thinks is the thing. But maybe there is going to be a reciprocal level of communication between the cult and the cult leader.
I think Nick's biggest dent will be when he comes out of the closet. I think that's when you're going to see people really switch up. And I do think I really think
gay.
God, I don't think really he's gay. Do.
I've said from the beginning, if it turns out that I'm wrong about that, then I will be out. But that's literally the one. Like if Nick is everything everybody says except for that, if he's actually gay, then I'm out. I don't think he is. I really don't think so. I think really he's an eccentric person, but
I don't know. There's a lot about he does
a massive L.
He talks about how his deranged his sexual desires will be in his show, like, and he laughs about this with his chocolate sin, blah blah blah. But it's like I say, I think it's a little bit more than that because I don't know. There's just a lot that screams gay and in the closet, or maybe it's just incel hasn't been with a woman. Maybe it's just that, but it screams gay. Autism Forums is also saying, here at the Autism Forums, we are simply looking to be entertained. Nothing more, you're only streamers. There you go. That's nice to hear as well. Oh, good. As long as I'm entertaining, that's good. That's good. But yeah, Big Tech, I don't know if there's much more to say. I don't think anyone's got any questions here. Are you going to be doing a show later on, Cozy?
Thanks for letting me call in.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Yeah. I stream every day, so I'll be doing a stream today for sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I just woke up, just got the coffee in, and I saw you were talking, so I thought, I never would have done this, by the way. I never would have called in to talk to you. That's a line I wouldn't cross because you're on the other side, right? Until yesterday. Now it's just Ralph's taking the gloves off. Like, all right, well, and I'm not even attacking Ralph here, but it's just like, okay, if there's certain lines that are now no longer in play, then I think talking to you is in play. I think that's
fair. That's fair. I want to say Ralph's also on soon, according to his own Cozy feed. So you might be clashing with that. That'll be hilarious. So who's going to get the most views? Will it be Big Tech or Ralph?
Nice.
Who's going to win that one? That'll be fun.
I don't even need to battle. Honestly, he kind of it doesn't really hurt me when he streams about me all day. Kind of like plays into the whole thing anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm being told that I do a good interview. So yeah. But yeah, no, thank you for your time today, man. Yeah, kick back, chill. And if you do your show today, just enjoy it, do your usual thing. I actually think you have a good production value with your stuff and this. My only issue with you was obviously your report, which we both agree on that. So it's nothing to go over. I can't say, I'm not going to beat a person when they're actually like going, yeah, fair enough. That's just silly. So it's just, not gonna beat a dead horse for lack of a better term.
Cheers. Best to you all. Best regards, and I'll see you later. Thanks for having me on.
See you later. Bye-bye. And that was obviously, we got Scar Lowy as well for a 5 there coming through. Just pretty sure that's the one coming through, right? Let me just make sure with that. Cog, you do a good interview. 07, appreciate it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, that was very unexpected. I'm not going to lie. Didn't actually honestly expect Big Tech to join the chat, let alone jump on the show. We were just going to laugh at Ralph's. Should we continue with Ralph's stream? Should we listening to a heroin addict from the UK? Smoke break, play your All Eyes Online. You know what? I think it is a deserved smoke break. I think it is. We'll come back and have a love. Cog equals absolute kings. As good, bad, the vicious. Look, Big Tech, I've only ever had the one issue with him, and it's based on his record. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We went over that very clearly. We both agreed that his actions were wrong. Well, what else are you supposed to do at that point, really? Just for anyone who may have any issues still with Big Tech based on that, you'd have to have the conversation with him yourself. Autism Forums for 499 saying, Chibi scheduled a mock funeral for Mecha. It's happening right after his Paper Mario speedrun. Jesus Christ, he's still alive!
People want a statement on actual, they want a size, they want a how big is his penis, if you could estimate whatever.
Under 5?
Under 5,
Probably.
under 5 inches.